Hey guys, I'm Meteorologist Chris Tomer. Let's talk some mountain weather, and still a waiting game across the west, but there are 2 or 3 cold fronts that'll probably sneak through on the eastern periphery, and one of those is actually happening right now. This came out of Wyoming. It came in Montana to Wyoming, now into Colorado. This is up at Steamboat. You can see the snow coming down there from the Thunderhead lift. I mean, that's just, it's great to see. This is not going to be a huge snow for Colorado, but certainly 3 or 4 inches at the ski area is possible. Here's the view down at Winter Park, and it's snowing good. Snowing down at town, snowing up at the resort, snowing up at Mary Jane. Great to see that. Here's Loveland up on the Continental Divide. There's Chet's Dream. You can see the snow coming down right there. So again, maybe 3 or 4 inches possible. Loveland up to Eldora, Winter Park, A Basin, Keystone up towards Steamboat. And we'll probably see some down at Summit County and Vail. Maybe not quite as much, maybe 1 to 3 inches for those areas. Here's the setup. So a big dip in the jet over here in the Pacific, helping to escort these storms way up here into BC, and then the jet is bending down. And you can see that with that type of track, all these waves that come down then get kind of moved like this to Montana, Wyoming, and that's what we're seeing. This is the eastern periphery, and that's where a lot of these fronts are going to start to cruise down beneath or on the edge of the high pressure, which, let me just point this out, is still kind of anchored across parts of the west. That high is still there. So again, whatever happens is going to be on that eastern periphery. I mean, you can see there's a lot of moisture right here. You got a storm right there, got a storm right there. So all this is going to be escorted up, and then it will come around. And what it's going to do, and what we're going to see happen, is these lows are then going to produce these large storm systems for the deep south, the mid-Atlantic, and the northeast, the eastern seaboard. And we've got one of those coming Sunday, Monday. I would say if you want to ski do some storm skiing, potential for big snow, go to the northeast Sunday, Monday, especially Monday. Killington, Mount Snow, Sunday River, Jay Peak, all the big resorts out there, I think can get walloped between Sunday and Monday. In fact, you know what? Let's just look at this on the projection here out of the GFS American model. Let me take you into, and you can see the light blue sliding out of Wyoming into Colorado right now. By Saturday morning, it's gone. And look what happens. This is Saturday morning right here. All this energy now is headed for Atlanta, Georgia, the deep south. You can see the low spinning up there. There's Sunday morning. Look at that. Ice storm, snowstorm through the Carolinas, Asheville. I have a good friend who works in Asheville, does weather down in Asheville. Jason Boyer, he's going to love this one. And then it's going to roll right up the eastern seaboard. Ohio gets clipped, and then all the big ski areas in the northeast, probably blizzard conditions. I mean, look at that 977 low. That's a strong one. That's going to be a big one. Monday will be a big powder day, probably Tuesday as well. And that's not going to be the last of it. So here's another front going back to the west here. Tuesday morning, another front comes down on the eastern periphery through Montana, Wyoming, clips Colorado. It's minor. It gets eaten up by the high. But it becomes a storm that hits the northeast. Okay, so this is Thursday morning right here. This is another little front. Look at that one dropping south Wednesday night, Thursday morning through Wyoming into Colorado. So again, there's a few fronts that'll do this. There's another more important front right here. So on the 21st, you see that one coming down. There's that, and that sets the stage for another one. Look at that low up in the northeast, just FYI. That's Sunday morning, the 23rd of January. So that's like the third big storm for the northeast. All right, so let's go way out. Let's see if there's any big pattern change for the west. It's going to be a long time. I mean, I'm cruising here. So here's the 27th of January. Here's the 28th. Now, potentially 28, 29, 30, there's a more important pattern change possible for the west. But again, that is way out there. All right, so let's do my forecast totals in 2 different time frames, all of today through the 18th. The snow you see in Colorado is happening right now. It's just meager amounts. It's just meager across the west. Nothing in Utah and California. So again, that's phase 1 through the 18th. Let's do phase 2 here, 19th through the 23rd. New snow, again, with there's 2 additional fronts that kind of slide down the eastern periphery that high. That'll drop 2 or 3 inches in Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, and potentially in the Wasatch. And then a little bit more in Colorado, Another 4, 5, 6 inches over Loveland, Steamboat, Cameron Pass, Silverton, Telluride, and snowed down in New Mexico as well. But nothing in California. That's this under such influence of that high pressure through that entire period. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, and maybe a larger pattern change towards the end of January for the West, but that is a long way out at this point, folks. All right, so enjoy it and look to the northeast Sunday, Monday, and even Tuesday for some big snow. But there you go. Thank you for tuning in here. Always appreciate it.